Stay tuned. There's more Seattle Real Estate Radio coming up here on Business Radio 1300 KKOL. We're back with more Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller.
All right, welcome back. You are listening to Seattle Real Estate Radio on KKOL 1300. We are here every single Monday.
Yes, we are.
3 to 4. Christian,
Monday.
he's asked me to remind everybody that we're here every Monday. If you don't already know. No, we're here every single Monday from 3 to 4, whether you're at home, in your car, wherever. You hit us up.
You're jogging around Green Lake, whatever you are.
If you're listening on the radio, though, we encourage everybody to hit up on your phone, iHeartRadio app.
Mm-hmm.
I think it comes in clear.
Yeah, it does a little bit.
It does.
I mean, AM radio, it's tough to. Yeah, it's always that way.
Yeah,
they don't come in super clear. It's like listening to a baseball game. Every once in a while, it gets all fuzzy and stuff, and that's kind of the beauty about baseball, though. Anyways, today we have a pretty great guest. I'm excited about this because I have tons of clients that ask me questions that relate to his expertise. So today we have Tyler Heagle. He is a home performance manager at Washington Energy Services, and he runs the Home Energy Audit Division. Yeah, so he's talking home energy audits. He manages a team of BPI certified energy auditors and installation crews. He's been at Washington Energy for 7 years and is heavily involved in the Northwest home performance industry. So, Tyler, welcome. Thank you very much for coming on today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're excited. I think our guests are going to learn some good things, get some good takeaways from you today. So, thank you very much. So first off, let's just do super basic. This is what we always do. We do 2 segments with you. The first one's kind of the 101, like really intro, basic knowledge. So let's lay that foundation. Next segment, Dan's going to come back and do some more in-depth questions. So first off, tell us, what the heck is a home energy audit?
So a home energy audit is a really great service to get at your home. It is usually a 2 to 3 hour comprehensive inspection of the home. Mm-hmm. And what we're looking at is areas of the home that are inefficient and cause comfort and health concerns. Okay. So through the inspection, we use building science, and we look at the house as a system rather than individual pieces of the home.
Interesting.
And what you get out of it is a really in-depth, smart report that shows areas that you can improve your efficiency and comfort and health.
Nice. So give me an idea of what it looks like when you come in. So say that you're going to do one on my house.
Yeah.
You come to the front door, you knock on the door, I let you in, then what happens?
Yeah, so we start with an interview with the homeowner, and we talk about areas that they feel are cold or, if the issue is utility bills. We try to dial in what the reason that they're having the energy audit for. Okay. Some people oftentimes want them because they just purchased or are about to sell a house. And so we dial that in, and then we walk around the home with the homeowner because they're the ones that are most aware of what's going on in the house.
Yeah, we know where the drafty windows are.
Exactly,
and we know the cold rooms in the house.
Exactly, yeah.
Yep.
So then after that...
my master bedroom is always the coldest room for
master
some reason.
bedroom. It's always is it above a garage?
No, actually, it's not. But good question.
So after that, we get into our testing, and the testing that we do looks at, it's a myriad of tests. We start with the equipment, and we measure the efficiency. We check for any gas leaks, make sure that it's combusting properly, and then we move to the unfinished areas of the home, such as the attic and the walls and the crawl space. Okay. And in those areas, they're oftentimes overlooked, and it's really great to get in there and see the level of insulation, air leakage, ductwork, all of that good stuff. And that whole time, we're taking a lot of pictures and recording a lot of data. And we will also wear like a GoPro camera so that you can come along for the
much like this
for the ride. Yeah, much like this
with our Skycam up here. That's what we call that. Yes.
And then we wrap it up with some air leakage testing of the house. We do what's called a blower door test. Okay. And that test tells us exactly how leaky a home is. And using some other tools like infrared cameras, we can really spot it.
I've heard and I've seen that a lot of that like air leakage comes from a lot of times like the outlet covers. Is that true? Is that because that seems like a random spot to do it, but it kind of makes sense at the same time.
Yeah, it's actually a lot of air does or can infiltrate through outlet covers, but sealing up the outlets has proven through a lot of testing that it's not quite as effective, because if you think of that wire that goes behind that outlet, goes either up into the attic or down into the crawl space, and then off to the meter. So if we can seal up that hole in the attic or the crawl space, we are in turn sealing up the walls.
The entire wall. That makes more sense rather than doing just the actual outlet.
Exactly.
So, that makes a lot of sense. Because otherwise it's just going to come through that wall anyways if there's no insulation in there. So
exactly.
That makes a lot of sense. All right. So I'm assuming that a lot of the leakage, air leakage especially, is coming windows, doors, any other random spots that people don't think about?
Windows and doors are always a big one, but the attic, the unconditioned areas where when they were building the houses, pre-2000s, air leakage wasn't really a part of the plan. It just wasn't really known. So there's a lot of construction flaws with electrical penetrations, mechanical penetrations, anything that would connect the unconditioned areas and the exterior to the conditioned areas. So there's always quite a lot of those.
Okay. So in Seattle, what are kind of the most common energy wasters? What would you say?
The most common energy wasters in Seattle, it varies by house, but generally insulation and air sealing, so just weatherization, are a big one that's oftentimes have some of the best return on investment if you are fixing that. And then also the equipment, depending on what type of equipment you have, would be also the top of that list.
So I'm going to recap what you just said. So basically, insulation in the attic and the crawl space, essentially, those are kind of the two big ones. Beef those two areas up. And then after that, maybe windows and doors? Is that what you're kind of saying? Or
yeah, you always kind of start with the shell of the house. So you can kind of think of it like a car. If you had an old car from the 80s or 90s, you wouldn't really want to start with replacing the engine in it with a brand new engine. It would be kind of a silly way to invest in your car. Rather, you want to look at what you can do to air seal and insulate, and then you can upgrade the equipment inside.
Got it. That makes sense.
Smart, yeah.
And some of the other big ones that we run into are old refrigerators or extra refrigerators and garages and freezers.
You mean the beer fridge?
The beer fridge in the man cave. It's a big one. And then, water heating systems are also a pretty big part. But most of your utility bill goes towards heating. And so through weatherization, you can really reduce that.
So
I got a question on the water heating.
Hey,
Well, so we essentially built our house from scratch in 2013, and so we had the whole here's a water heater option versus these little tiny
instant hot.
The tankless water.
Yeah. So would you talk about that real quick and the pros and cons from a energy efficiency standpoint?
Yeah, tankless water heaters are great. They're a couple of the best things about tankless water heaters are that they last a long time. So a typical 50-gallon water heater lasts about 8 to 15 years. The DOE, recommends replacing them within that time frame. So a tankless water heater will last, 15, 20 years plus as long as you keep it serviced. So you see some savings there if you can look at it like that. You only really have to buy it once. And then they do combust and heat the water more efficiently.
Okay.
So
which kind of makes sense because, you got a 50-gallon water heater. You got to continuously keep all 50 gallons heated all the time.
Exactly.
Whereas with the tankless, you're just heating up whatever you're using at that moment.
Exactly.
Okay. So it makes a lot of sense from that standpoint. And that's kind of how I explained it to people too.
Okay.
Yeah. So you said servicing those. How often do you need to service the tankless water heater?
Some of the manufacturers recommend doing it every couple years or every 2 years, and then some of the manufacturers recommend waiting until there's an issue and then having it serviced.
Okay.
So that, I guess, sort of speaks to how
well
tough they are.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you're purchasing a piece or investing in a piece of equipment like that, having it serviced every 2 years is always just a good idea.
Yeah.
Can't hurt anything.
Exactly. And it doesn't cost that much. And you're probably going to extend the life of it anyway and the efficiency of it. So
absolutely,
it's going to pay for itself in the long term. So on average, do you have, and I'm kind of throwing this off the cuff, do you have any clue how much people end up saving every month if they listen to every single energy tip that you give? Do you have any clue what they end up saving?
Yeah, so that's actually a kind of an interesting question, and it's sort of an interesting answer. But so what we use,
I'm going to find it interesting, Tyler.
So what we use is modeling software that models, or we do a utility analysis in the beginning of the audit, and we see what your bills were for the last year, and then our software we input the square footage of the home, the equipment, the installation levels, and then with that we also input the areas that we're planning on improving, or that you might want to improve. So that will give us a percentage of utility savings that's estimated. So it is an estimate, and like 2015, with the audits that we completed last year, we saved, according to the modeling, an average of 21%, which is pretty substantial through both weatherization and equipment. But it's kind of comes down to that question of how efficient is energy efficiency. So if you buy the most efficient heat pump on the planet, and then you start cooling your house to 55 degrees in the summer because you want to be comfortable, then your utilities are going to go up because of it. Yeah. So it's really in the end up to personal usage in the home.
I'm going to jump in right now, and we're going to come back in a minute from our break and spend a little bit more time on this. But I wish, having gone through this, building a home, I wish I would have been able to lean on somebody like you versus a contractor. Because I'm just telling you right now, I'm in, 8 minutes? I've already realized I made a bunch of mistakes. And I say this with some of our guests, but I mean, seriously, in regards to what you just said on the heat pump. I mean, they built us out with this enormous heat pump. But it's so powerful, and I think that heat pump could heat a skyscraper or push air through a skyscraper, and we've got a 3,000 square foot house. So, those are some of the things that I would have preferred to meet with somebody like you to get more spec type info and then go out and purchase it. Same thing with we went with the opposite. We did not go tankless because we were steered in a different direction. And money, I don't want to say money wasn't an issue, but money wasn't the factor there. It was more the wrong variables we were looking at. So this is big. This is I can't wait to jump in and just drill you with some more.
I can see you over there getting antsy.
Bring it on.
I don't say I'm drooling, but I'm ready. I'm chomping at the bit.
That's funny. So, I think when we come back, do you have any questions that you think you're gonna team up with?
Yeah, I want to talk more about the heat pump and AC.
Yeah,
I think that's a big. That's a big topic right now.
Yeah, I think so too, especially with our summers recently.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. We are going to take a quick break, but we will be back with Tyler Heagle with Washington Energy Services, learning more about energy efficiency. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. There's more Seattle Real Estate Radio coming up here on Business Radio 1300 KKOL. We're back with more Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller.
Hello, and welcome back to Seattle Real Estate Radio on KKOL 1300 AM. We are here. I can say that word. Very. That was funny. Good job, Dan. Getting me to laugh. You just like hearing me laugh, I think.
I love your laugh. I need more of it because I can't drink any more coffee, and I'm just struggling today with energy.
Anyways, we are here with Tyler Heagle with Washington Energy Services, and he is a home energy audit expert. The expert, I would say, because he knows what he's talking about. So, Dan, I know you got some burning questions because we just kind of briefly talked about it in the break real quick. I was like, dude, just ask this on air. This is great.
Yeah. Well, I think this is relevant whether you're a first-time or younger home buyer or you're a homeowner. I think this is a relevant conversation to have, or at least information to know
for anybody.
But for people listening right now, let's say obviously you're not in the car and you're not at work in your cubicle. If you're at home right now and they're on iHeartRadio listening to us, and you have them walking through their house, direct them in three places right away that they need to look at to possibly make their home more energy efficient.
Yeah, that's a really great question. So the first place I would say is into your home office or wherever you do your bills. Okay, and take a peek at your bills.
Tricky.
That's a good one to start.
Nope, that's good.
And the other thing would be to walk into the areas that you spend the most time in. So the living area, if you have a TV room where you hang out with the fam, the kitchen, and then the bedrooms that you live in. And a couple of ways that you can start to decide if they're uncomfortable or if they need more work is just kind of feel. So if there's draftiness, if there's a lot of dust on the countertops, if you have a dusty home, that almost always means that you have a ton of air leakage going on. And then draftiness is a really common complaint that we get. So just kind of being cognizant of where you're feeling those drafts. And
if you're sitting on your couch and you can feel a gust of wind blow past you and no one else is home, you got a little drafty of house. An
interesting thing too is a lot of people have been living in their homes for maybe 3, 5, 10 years, 20 years, and you get really used to those feelings that you get in your home.
Yeah.
So a big thing that we find is that during that walkthrough, during an energy audit, homeowners, they don't initially know where the major problematic areas are, but because they're just not
paying attention
they're used to it. They're used to getting home and throwing on a jacket. So walking around and really feeling where you're uncomfortable. And, we all live in these houses for a long time. They're big investments for our families. We raise children there and cook food and do all that good stuff. So as a homeowner, you deserve to be comfortable in your home, and you deserve to, have that home be efficient as well and healthy.
Yeah.
And it's a good place to start.
Yeah, and financially, too. Financially healthy. If you're overpaying or losing money. Let's recap real quick since we're on this topic. So I love this. So if your home is higher end on the dusty level, it may raise a red flag that, hey, you may be experiencing some air drafts.
Do you want to hear another cool one? Cobwebs. If you're looking up like in your skylights, you see some cobwebs or the corners of the rooms. Spiders, it's kind of the poor man's identifier for air leakage. So spiders put their webs where there's air movement because they're trying to trap their meal for the day.
That makes sense.
That's a big did you know. That's cool.
Yeah. It's kind of there's a lot of things that you can really kind of pick up on.
I mean, as you're showing homes to people, these are great.
Exactly
this is huge, man. This is great. Okay. So in recapping though, so if you see signs of air drafts or air leakage, I know you talked about this on the first segment. Where do those commonly? Okay, now where do I look? Recap that.
So where you see the air leakage, where you would look after,
or if you go inside your house and you're like, yeah, we do have a really dusty house, or
what do you do?
What do you do? Where do you look right away?
Yeah, so where you would want to look is or where you would find those areas that are causing that are in the attic and crawl space, and walls kind of third place. And it's all of those little holes, all of those gaps and cracks and seams, and sealing those up with like spray foam. And this is a lot of stuff that homeowners can do on their own with a couple cans of spray foam. They can get a lot done in crawl spaces and attics if they're willing to jump up those areas.
Most people aren't. But.
Well, So for example, if I saw in our house, if I saw up in a corner some spider webs, I could potentially think that above that or around that there's air leakage. So if I were to go up in the attic, head over in that direction, just kind of just start spraying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Spray and pray.
Can lights would probably be the most easiest way to envision that.
Got it.
So can lights are inherently very leaky.
Love it.
And so if you were to go up in the attic, you could see that can light and seal it up using spray foam or a box or some other ways.
This is really helpful. This is great info. Okay, I'm a financial guy. I'm a money guy. What are the tax breaks, man? Are there any tax breaks on energy efficiency?
Yeah, so the local utilities have some really great rebates from Puget Sound Energy, PUD, Tacoma Power. A lot of great rebates, and they're instant rebates too. So you get them right off the contract.
Nice.
Which is a big benefit. And then there's also federal credits and incentives that kind of change every once in a while. You can write off a lot of these home energy improvements on your taxes. So
nice.
So let's backtrack real quick. You said you get the deductions or the breaks right off the contract. So like if they buy an energy efficient appliance, you just turn it in. Talk to us about the process.
Yeah. So for utility rebates, for the instant rebates, they have weatherization rebates. So and then they also have equipment and windows. So if you were to get new attic insulation, if you qualified for that rebate and you signed up with a contractor to get it done, a contractor like Washington Energy Services,
Okay.
1-800-3-NET-HOME,
Got it. No.
we would have that that $600 rebate taken off the contract at the
Off the
bottom
initial
after
price,
tax.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's my question. You have to go through. What are the proper steps that you have to go through in order to make sure that you get that rebate or that refund?
Having working, a lot of the utilities have contractor alliance
Got it.
or
Okay.
contractor network. So Puget Sound Energy, for example, has a contractor alliance network.
Okay.
And to qualify for those rebates, there's a couple metrics that you have to hit as existing conditions.
Okay.
And then you have to use a contractor within their network.
Okay. Is there a website?
Yeah, Puget Sound Energy,
Okay.
PSC.com.
Okay.
They have a lot of great information on the rebates, incentives. There's rebates for fridges, you name it. So
Yeah, Seattle City Light,
Seattle City
Public
Light,
Utilities,
Yep.
same kind
exactly,
of deal.
PUD,
Okay.
all of them.
Great.
And then any contractor, they're incentivized to offer you those rebates too because it's cheaper for the homeowner and they want to do the work.
So I have, since we're talking efficiencies and maybe some rebates and everything, let's talk money and savings. So when we built our home, we, for example, we purchased out on some acreage. So we weren't tied into city or county gas lines. And the house was a 1927 farmhouse. It still was set up to be filled off of oil.
Nice.
So
Which there's a lot of houses in Seattle that still have oil.
Now, did we make a mistake by removing the oil tank and removing oil and going with propane?
Absolutely not. Getting off oil is always there's always a better option whether you go through another fuel source like gas or electric.
Okay. Good.
Propane, when you have to get propane, you have to. It's because of the area that you live in.
Yeah, you just don't have the line in the street.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you always have the option of going electric. Propane, the only kind of downside to that one would be that the price of propane fluctuates a lot.
Yeah.
But other than that, you can still get the same very efficient equipment
Okay.
to burn that type
Okay.
of fuel.
So let's talk about heat pumps real quick
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
get this question a lot. What the heck is a heat pump and how does it work? And is it the same thing as AC or what?
Yeah, that's a great question. So heat pump technology right now is it's going through the roof. There's a lot of really great stuff happening with heat pumps. I don't know if you've ever heard of ductless split systems.
Yep.
But they are, building a lot of new construction places with just ductless and
Exactly.
just heat pumps.
Yep.
And whereas natural gas has always been kind of the prevalent source of heat in our area. So heat pumps are great. They both heat and cool your house. Whether you have a dual fuel system or not with natural gas, they're going to run the majority of the year and use the outdoor air and convert it into either heating or cooling and through the air handler blow it into your house. The difference between a heat pump and an air conditioner is an air conditioner just does cooling and does not do heating.
Okay. So they are probably the most efficient use to heat and cool. More efficient than AC, better than just a furnace.
So
what would you say?
AC, you would want to compare it between gas furnaces or gas heating and electric heating. So heat pumps are super efficient, but there's also really efficient gas heating products. So it depends on kind of the utilities and what you have existing in your house.
Yeah.
So if I have a furnace and we do not have a heat pump, but we want AC, is that an option? And how do you do that? Or do you have to have a heat pump in order to have AC?
No, you can. If you have a furnace, you can get either a heat pump or air conditioning. So if you had a very efficient, 90% efficient furnace, then sticking with an air conditioning unit would be the best option.
Okay.
And then if you had a standard 80% efficient furnace, then you could throw in a heat pump, get the benefit of that air conditioning, and also benefit from the efficiency of the heat pump.
Awesome. Okay. Well, this was valuable. I want to give our listeners some information on Washington Energy Services. They're dedicated to making your home great. They offer a number of energy-saving and comfort-enhancing products that'll help you save money and live more comfortably. They install everything they sell with their own employees, meaning they're fully accountable for the success of all their projects. This month, they're featuring 20% off cooling products such as heat pumps. This is cool. Yeah, heat pumps, ductless heat pumps, and air conditioners to try and give their customers a head start on the busy season. That's coming up. That's why we wanted to.
Last summer. I mean, that's all you got to say. Last summer.
Yeah.
Woo!
Past couple summers have been.
I know, it's been
fairly
hot.
warm. Yeah.
Very, very hot.
So, I mean, this is an opportunity to get a head start before, and obviously a discount, because there's no discounts when everybody wants to upgrade to AC, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
When they're 3 months backed up because they're
exactly.
booked and you're burning in your house.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So visit their website, WashingtonEnergy.com. It's really simple, WashingtonEnergy.com. You can also reach them, 800-398-4663. Their information is going to be up, obviously, on SeattleRealEstateRadio.com. This was a valuable, very valuable segment. Man, we were pretty lucky to have you come on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you,
anytime.
Tyler. Or any other last-minute tips, energy efficiency-wise, or things like that you'd like to share?
Yeah, get an audit. Every homeowner, every structure, having an audit's beneficial if you're planning on doing any type of work or not. It's a great way to.
Do they cost anything? They free? What's the deal?
Generally, they cost between about $200 and $500.
Cool.
Our audit is currently $199.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Tyler Heagle, Washington Energy Services. I appreciate your time. Stay tuned to Seattle Real Estate Radio. We will be right back.
Stay tuned. There's more Seattle Real Estate Radio coming up here on Business Radio 1300 KKOL.